Welcome everybody to this week's live stream. We've got a bit of a special edition live stream, I'll call it. As you would know, that yesterday was the 2023 Xbox Games Showcase. I did not get up at 3 a.m. to watch it, unfortunately. I'm not that committed. But I did watch it about 9, 10 o'clock, and it was awesome as I expected. But today we have something a little bit different. I'm not just here in the studio by myself. I am joined by a few of my companions. Right in front of me, right here, I have my good friend, Mr. Andre, aka Andre. And then next to him, we have Mr. Microsoft himself, the man with the plan, the guy that was sent here to make sure we keep everything on brand. We all stay in a line. Mr. Andrew Pearson, aka AP. How are you, AP?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And I am very happy to be here.
Anytime.
Considering it's a gaming stream too. And I'm looking forward to it.
It's tough to get up for gaming streams. It's tough.
It is tough, but we're here.
And we also have my good friend and companion to the right or left of me, depending on where you are, Mr. Tim. He is running the decks, pushing all the buttons, doing all the technical hard stuff. So we don't have to do that.
What a legend.
But yet,
What a legend.
The Xbox Game Showcase, there was a lot of anticipation, a lot of pressure. Xbox really need this to be good. First impressions.
Yeah. A really clean stream, looked really good. They knew exactly what they were going for. I think they led with one of their strongest, which we'll get into. But yeah, it was good. It was really good. And then at the end, they had the big Starfield thing. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty exciting, right? It's been a while. Feels like it's been a while for someone who doesn't follow it every single day to see like the kind of the really wide range of games that we've got, plus those big bankers that people have been waiting for ages. So
yeah,
super exciting.
That was going to be my point leading into my first initial takeaways from it was the variety of games. Yes. Insane, absolutely insane. Very, very on brand for Xbox. What's the big moniker for Game Pass? There's something for everyone. That I think that was definitely a big part of that. We saw FPS racing, pretty much everything. As you can see on the screen now, we've got a bit of montage playing of everything that was announced. But yeah, I'd probably say that was my first biggest takeaway was that there was just so many games in different varieties to choose from as well. A couple surprises. There was some that I was sort of expecting, I was hoping for, but definitely a couple surprises as well. Just quickly, what was your highlight? I think I know what yours will be. What would your highlight be?
Oh yeah, so we're going to start with Fable.
Fable?
As an OG Xbox fan, Fable. I was glad to see that come back. That was the one I was waiting for.
Yeah.
I was having conversations with people in store the other week about like they should bring back Fable.
Yeah.
That's one of those franchises that's been there since day one.
Yeah.
There's so many different versions, right? Too. So there's just like so many iterations. So people who are like fanning on that would love a newer version.
Yeah, and then they did anniversary editions like 10 years ago, so there was like well due for something to update it. So yeah, I'm glad to see that come back.
And there were some familiar faces in the what's the guy's name who was sort of the front and center of the trailer.
Who's going to try and pronounce it? Richard Ayoade.
I'm setting them up here.
There you go. Perfect timing.
There
yeah. So
Moss.
Moss. He's done so much more than the IT crowd. He's in movies, his stuff, he's directed things. It's super cool.
Yeah.
So dude. Yeah. I like that was the opening to the whole thing. It was like, because the whole point of this game was like you had the choices you had to make, going to be good, going to be evil, but it was always fun. It was always silly. It was always a bit of a like, not kiddies angle, but it was just like, it was real sort of like playful version of those style of games.
Yeah.
Especially for Xbox players.
And did you end up, because I know you said you'd played pretty much all the Fable games, but did you manage to find?
I didn't.
You didn't find anything?
I couldn't find my original boxes. I was looking through the games. I was like, I definitely have Fable 2. I might have Fable 3, but I just couldn't dig it out, unfortunately. So,
just to list off a few, obviously we can't go through every single game today because we'll be here till Saturday.
Yep.
But I mean, like I said, the variety of games was absolutely insane. One of my favorites actually was South of Midnight. I thought the trailer for that looked really, really cool, and that's probably something I'm going to definitely jump into. Really cool game from Compulsion Games, that one. 33 Immortals was another big one. Payday 3.
Yeah.
That was I was not expecting that. That was cool to see the clown mask pop up on the screen again. The Persona games, I think there was Persona 3 and 5, I believe, was announced as well. For Game Pass. So there's some really big titles there. Avowed, another one. Super big expectations on that, and a lot of people that was on their list for please be on the the announcement for these games. So Avowed was definitely another big one there. But I think the next one that I want to show is, so this man right here next to me, years ago introduced me to this game, Overwatch. Now, a little bit of a backstory on this one. Probably when they first announced Overwatch 2, a big part of Overwatch 2 was going to be that they had this new mode, this new PvE mode, which is player versus environment. And there's going to be some new mechanics to the hero. So you could, the further you got through the story, you could build up your hero's skill tree, give them new abilities and things like that. And everyone was like, sign me up. Sign me up, lock it in, Eddie. Everyone went nuts for Overwatch 2. And that was kind of the big push behind it, was that PvE mode. And then 3 or 4 weeks ago, they announced that they're not going to do that anymore. And everyone was super, super bummed because, again, that was a big part of why people were happy and looking forward to shifting over to Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
But they did announce that there would be a story mode, which is kind of the same thing, but they just wouldn't have that same hero mechanics where you can build your character up to, have new abilities and stuff like that. So as you can see on the screen now, it's just going to be that typical story mode that I think there's been in the game for quite a while, where you can do different missions and stuff like that. But it's better than not having any of that, PvE type style gaming. So I thought that was pretty cool that they announced that and had it in the event. So we've played Overwatch a few times.
Yeah.
Andre's been in there. I think, did you play Overwatch with us, AP?
No, I must be the only person on earth who hasn't played it. Embarrassingly, but it looks super cool, right?
As someone who just casually jumped in to help out, and Tim, who's a pro player, it must be frustrating just watch me blitzkrieg straight into the.
We don't have a Tim cam, but if we had a Tim cam, he is laughing hilariously right now.
Do you Overwatch?
Actually, that was a pretty funny learning curve, because we learned to play the game by literally one of the best players in the Milky Way galaxy. So
where's Andre? He's down the front.
Yeah. But no, I thought that was cool that they did announce some type of story element to the game, which I think will make a lot of people happy, because there was a massive what's the word, like, push to have that PvE after they announced it. And when they sort of said, look, we don't want to take away from that multiplayer natural Overwatch feel of the game. I kind of understand why they went that way.
It's give them what they want and give them what works. Some games change too much once they get big, and then you lose your core audience of people who've been there for a while. So that I'm sure I'll join back in.
I think that's kind of spot on. They were sort of thinking, well, if we go down this path, are we turning this into a PvE game rather than having a multifaceted approach to it? So good point, Andre.
It's a great point.
Good stuff.
One idea a day.
Good thing.
On to the next. So obviously, like I said before, we're not going to go through every single game. We sort of just picked out what we liked, our favorite Brits. And this next game that we sort of wanted to highlight was Flight Sim. Now, I did sort of catch on to something. I thought it was just going to be like a normal expansion pack, maybe something around a movie or something. I don't know, because they've done that before. But this looks like a completely different twist on what we've typically seen with Flight Simulator. So again, I don't know how it's going to work exactly, but I believe you'll be able to choose different careers, different skills and things like that. So you can see on the screen, there's I saw one where they're building like construction towers and stuff like that, and you can drop them in and place them. You can do rescue, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, pretty cool.
It looks well cool, right?
And
for someone who hasn't, I've played a lot of it, but I've played a bit of it. Rather than just flying around and destroying planes that I've never heard of before, doing some of the little missions that were built in was kind of cool. Was a way to get yourself engaged into the game. And if you think about it, what people want is more task-based stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, I don't know if I want to admit this on stream. It's playing Farming Simulator, right? Like having a task, that whole modeling thing is just like, right, you're not only just flying planes now, or you're flying aircraft. You're doing search rescue, or you're doing delivery commercial, whatever, that kind of stuff. And just, I guess, putting together all of the technology in there, because if the people who are listening who haven't played it, you just need to check it out. Do it on cloud gaming. Don't worry about your machine. That's one of the other better things I thought as well too. Is that you can just stream it cloud gaming. You don't have to worry about your device as much, and just get into it, because it is spectacular. And the fact that you see like live elements like weather and stuff for your local area, it blows your mind. Whether you're into planes or not, it's just super fun. And I think the graphics are just breathtaking. There's lots of games out there with breathtaking graphics, but this one is certainly, for me, up there. It's just amazing that we can accomplish that as a human race, I think.
AP, I thought you were going to age yourself by saying, "Oh, I remember when the earlier versions came out."
I do. I probably had finished school when they released it. No, how long has it been? It's been quite some time, right? Before that was released.
So I have my little facts list thrown.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Andre's facts list.
So I first thought of it in Windows 95. That was the first time I noticed any of those games come out. Yep. But it actually came out in 1982, which is my birth year. Aging myself then. So that's been going for 41 years.
Oof.
So that's a big development. 98, Flight Sim 98 was the first one to use Microsoft's DirectX system.
Wow.
And Flight Simulator X, the main menu soundtrack, the music was produced by Stan Lepard, who people would know better for the Halo franchise.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
No, it's there.
So loves this little.
I know.
Fact
I like it. It's
just
not standard facts either. Yeah. So it's just you've done some research on that.
14-year wait between the Flight Simulator X and what do we have? 2020. Yeah, so it was 14 years between X and 2020.
Yep.
So it's good. We got some updates. The Maverick one was the first one I saw, which was like a little expansion, but this looks like a whole career mode.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think AP's spot on. Like as awesome as it is to just jump in and just fly around and look at stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine how much more involved you can get when you know like there's going to be missions or there's tasks that you have to complete.
Yeah.
Build a radio tower or drop cargo off to this certain. Yeah.
I'll be doing that. Yeah. I will be doing that.
I'm all in on Flight Sim this time around. So definitely looking forward to that one. Actually, whoever's in the chat, if you are watching, tell us what your highlight was of the Xbox Games Showcase this year.
And if you're older than me and AP.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to our next highlight. Oh, here we go. Someone sitting across the table from me right now is a bit excited.
I'm very excited.
I think we actually spoke about Forza when it was first announced, AP, on a stream. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
And they were talking about the finer details, like if you're racing during the day, the track's going to be warmer, so you're going to have to adjust your tires and stuff like that. And I'm like, what?
I know.
What does that even mean?
I can't.
But AP, I will leave it up to you. What
it's
just
pure excitement, to be honest, lads, and the people who are watching, pure excitement for this. It's just taken that physics modeling up to the next level. Really, it was it's outstanding. The way that we can, just look at it. It looks like real life. Half the time you need to explain people that you're not playing a game. It's actually
not a game.
It's not a game. It's real life. But having those kind of things, because the racing sim thing is big now, right? And there's lots of different flavors of it around for lots of different types of racing. So I'm kind of glad that we've come up to speed with that because the eSIM racing, realistically, a lot of the teams are using that kind of physics to prep for the actual real races, and that's the kind of information they need. And the fact that they can go around and like LiDAR scan all of the tracks, and then I think they've in this update as well too. There's different friction points, so not only dependent on the track and the wear off the racing line, there's obviously different friction as the way that the track's been repaired, but also the heat on the friction. And then when it comes to raining, so you can, obviously far smarter people than us are doing this, but that's amazing that you can do that and is based with the tire technology. Plus they've had an update with the cars too, which I think personally is a little bit long overdue. So that's kind of cool to see some of that stuff. The new Cadillac, that's not that one. It's the other. There's two on the cover.
I did see that. Yes.
Cadillac, they raced at Le Mans just actually last weekend. Obviously not that car, but the LM version of that. So I'm really excited to see the cars that are coming up. Are there any ones that you're looking forward to that you saw on the clip?
No, I saw that too, and I was thinking about the Le Mans, and they placed really well in that as well. So I think that might be a lot of hype they'll create around this game now that you could actually race these exact style cars, the NASCAR style cars. Around the track. That Challenger. I like the Challenger.
There's so many different things. You think about the race and the realism of it, like the race that rained halfway through. So you're going to get all of that physics of the variable weather and then the variable traction. Some guy, a very experienced driver, spun off in the first corner or the second corner or something like that, purely because the tires were, So anyway, there's going to be some cool stuff. And plus, obviously, racing online, but also the challenge mode I like as well. I remember you were saying before about the story mode for Overwatch. I think like widening that gap for people, is people like me are going to play Overwatch who don't traditionally play just online stuff. So here for people it's good for everyone, so super excited for that.
And given you like car racing, that's your thing, you're a big car guy, all that sort of stuff, you probably played every Forza ever. When you hear that about how they talk about the finer details going into having the right tires, right time of day, all that sort of stuff. Does it actually make that much of a difference when you're
Absolutely.
playing the game?
It will do. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Certainly, they've kind of, it's almost like they've kind of tried some of the things in 7, so you can get friction assist. So if you go off the track, it's obviously far slipperier on the grass than it is
Yeah.
on the road. So they've sort of built that stuff in. So it's going to matter.
Yeah.
I don't even have a wheel. Like I love it, but I don't love it that much. I still use the controller.
Yeah.
What I do like about it though is the finer details. Yet when my son comes to visit and plays, you can turn like assistive steering, ABS, traction control, all that kind of stuff in. And he can still have fun driving it and not fly off the road. So it's not that typical sim game where it's impossible unless you've had 10 years experience to play, which I think is cool because you can switch it on, off, and have fun with that too. So yeah, I'm as you can probably see, I'm mildly excited about it, and I'm also mildly excited that I don't have to pay for it because it's coming day one on Game Pass, right?
That's
so
right.
I'm very happy that is. I'm just gonna slightly look out of my
Yeah.
peripheral vision whilst that clip's going across. So yeah,
the amount of day one releases and Xbox exclusives now is just phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
the fact that all you need is Game Pass Ultimate and a controller and a screen.
Yeah.
You got your Xbox. Like you can do this anywhere.
And I think if you pre-order too, that you can download it prior.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
There are some. I
Yes.
don't know about prices and regions and stuff like that, but there was an announcement where for Starfield and also for Forza, there's a particular bundle you can buy, and you get a whole bunch of in-game stuff. I'm guessing it's going to be like skins or, all that typical fun stuff you get in games. But you also get 5 days of early access to the game.
That's so cool.
So yeah, that'll be pretty cool to if you don't want to wait till that day and.
Yep.
Jump in super early. But just quickly, you made a really good point, AP. I think when it comes to car games, the biggest hurdle is people are like, well, especially for new people, I don't want to play it because I'm just going to end up bumping into the walls and driving off into the river and stuff like that. So if they have made that, more accessible to people who just want to give it a go and they're worried that they're, going to be awful at it, then I think that's going to be a big
And we've
win
had
too.
it for a while too. So people existing playing Horizon 5.
Yep.
It wasn't new in that, but it's the same thing. So you can just have it. It was sort of, I think from Forza 5 on, they brought that in. And I think it's brilliant, right?
Yep.
Just bringing more fun for the game to other people who are not as serious or nerdy about it as me.
And just quickly, do you prefer the motorsport versions of Forza, or you don't really care?
I think that they're great. I think that they're all great, right? Because sometimes I just get sick of going round and round and round, especially if they're a lengthy race or it's hard.
Yeah.
And then I just want to drive this car and jump it off a mountain, and I can, and not have to pay for the insurance bill.
Push back.
Forza 5.
Horizon 5 was great for that.
Take a G-Wagon.
Well, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like they do a lot of their physics modeling in between for vice versa. So, you're getting all the good stuff from this and the next evolution of Horizon and on and on. So it's a good tag team to have. So it's just more car racing, and I can just live a dream that I was never going to live by buying Ferraris and Lamborghinis. So it's saving me a bunch and making me happy.
Well, obviously, it's going to be a big hit with us. I think we're all going to jump on and play a bit of Forza Motorsport when that comes. So definitely looking forward to that one. Okay, on to probably what was the highlight of the showcase. I literally had 45 minutes just for this one game.
Wow.
I think we're all piping on this one, but I think deservedly there has been so much wait, so much anticipation for this. And then when we got a deeper dive into the mechanics of the game, how it's going to work, what it's all about, you start to think so initially why do these always take so long? Why is it always coming in 2024, coming 2025? You're like, come on, we just want to play the game tomorrow. And then that's why I like these kind of these direct events that they do, where you get a developer's sort of perspective and you see what goes into the finer detail. And then you're like, oh, that's why it's taken so long. There's a lot that has gone into
25 years in the making, right?
There's a lot that has gone into a game like this, and I thought it was pretty cool that the team sort of said, "Look, it is a different venture for us, but it's gonna feel like one of our games." I thought it's gonna have that look and feel to it.
Yeah, wasn't it? It's like the others were set on one world. This is set on over 1,000 worlds. So you get that. That's
so I think
the same feel.
That's what caught a lot of people off guard, because they were talking about 10s, 20, hundreds of hours to develop a world, and you're probably thinking, oh, it's probably going to be like 5, 10, and then they say there's over 1,000 worlds. There's going to be some serious man hours that have to go into this game to even come close to. And maybe there might not even be a finish. It's probably something that's just going to continue to grow. I think AP, we spoke about this yesterday, how the game itself will I don't know if it's going to be an AI thing or if it's put into the code, but like as you develop and get into further worlds, that just continues to grow.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a man-made thing, which is
I reckon that's super cool, right?
Yeah.
If we've got the power to do that, because for people who are just living the dream and playing it for a lot of hours a day, that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
It's your evolving world. It sort of blends reality and gaming sort of together. So I think that's really cool. And for someone who doesn't usually play this type of game, I think I'm pretty excited to check it out at least. But so for people like me, is there a story mode? I didn't catch that. Or is it purely open explore?
No, there is some story to it. Yeah, that's actually what surprised me about it. When I first saw it, I first saw those early sort of shots and footage of it. I was like, oh, it's going to be like a space explorer game. You're not going to have necessarily an on the ground experience as strong as some of the other games they've got, or at least as strong as you would like. And then I saw the battle in that, and then they talked about the different worlds. I think you start on it's like Pandora or something.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm confusing my franchises here. But yeah, and there's these different worlds that you start on. You start to learn about the politics of the environment you're in, and then you can just branch out into different worlds, into different things, but still stay in contact with, there's different religious groups, there's different mining groups, there's warring areas.
Yeah. And I think that's when people got their first sort of eye opener to the scale of this, when they were like, everything around you is real time simulation. So
wow.
Everything. So there was a bit in the clip, I think it probably won't be in this one, where the character's walking and you see a moon off in the distance. And he's like, you see that moon over there? That's orbiting in real time. That's not just a background thing. And you can actually go over there and visit that as well if you want to.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is getting crazy.
I have to say though, the coolest part that I found out about was that when you're out in space exploration, if you get attacked, you can either blow up their ship or you can board the ship. And then once you've taken it, you can steal it. So it's yours now. You get to keep it. You get to add it to your fleet. And then you can modify it how you want. And all of a sudden you're building up your fleet. So, you're not just zooming around with your own specific design ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then with the designs, you could do 100 different designs. You could change it. You can make it look like a mech, or someone's made it look like a bug or a spider, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, they sort of touched on that whole design element. I think they said like the design language, they named it NASA Punk was the style they were going for. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we got a better look at the FPS element of the game too. And I was like, I know it's not meant to be an FPS pew shooter game, but I was like, I hope that part of it is done really well, and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that part of it.
Skills tree that they've got in there as well. Like straight off the bat, you can be sort of like a shooter, a melee, or a sneak attack person. You can steal things, so you get a different skills tree approach as well. So AP, I'm guessing you're more of a run and gun kind of guy. You just run in there and
look, just steal. Trying to be part of the team, No, but I do enjoy those, the kind of like discovery games as well too. And it's really important to, I think, have a storyline sometimes, because otherwise you get lost. For me, if you haven't played many of those before, you may not want to, or you may not know what to do. You get stuck and then you get bored and you're like, yeah, whatever, But also, cool call for this, it's on Game Pass, right? So if I try it and I don't like it, I haven't spent my yearly game allowance on it or whatever. But vice versa, I might be something I love. I remember Red Dead was on Game Pass, not something I ever would have played, and I really enjoyed it. Right, so hopefully this. I mean, obviously this is quite a different type of game and much more expansive, but still getting people on something that they may not have tried before, I think is really cool.
We do have a viewer question from the man himself, Mr. Fletcher Mayo. And he has asked, is there a horror level and can we get AP to play it?
I figured that might have been something that he might have mentioned. I don't know. Is there a horror level?
Honestly, there probably will be something like that. Yeah. Like when you look at the scale and the depth of like the civilizations you can build and the possibilities, I'd have no doubt there would be some sort of
absolutely
creepy scare jump type level or environment you could build. And I definitely think it's going to be.
I'll say it here. I'll take one for the team and do the stream. Don't worry. Don't worry, people. There's nothing Fletch can do to scare me. It's fine.
I'll definitely have to leave that one to you. So obviously we're all looking forward to Starfield. Cannot wait for that one. And that was probably the highlight of the entire showcase, was getting a bit more in-depth look into Starfield as well. So we are nearly at the end. So let's quickly wrap this up, team. Some cool announcements. Again, had no idea these were coming. On a hardware front and accessories, we have a new controller and a new headset, I believe, too, with that Starfield look and feel to it. First thoughts?
I think that looks real cool.
Yeah, that's a good design. I like the Xbox white controller look as well. That's always been the classic design since the 360. I noticed there too, it even has like where you would put your controls. So it's got like the throttle on one of the analogs.
Yeah.
Oh wow, are they themed?
Yeah.
The same. Yeah, the headphones are there.
The whole
Cool.
Yep.
So having like a Tim, you'll probably be the same as well when you work in like video editing and VFX and stuff like that. I love seeing how they put these type of things together for little highlight clips and stuff like that. I think that's really cool to see. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to chuck a sneaky little pre-order in for this one.
Yeah.
That looked really cool. Yeah, looks like everyone's a big fan of the Starfield limited edition controller and headset. Is there a date on there? I think it's coming probably the same time as the Xbox, I'd say. No, nothing? Okay.
Yeah.
When we find out, we'll let everyone know when that one's coming. And the last little sort of, big announcement, I would say, not a sneaky little announcement, it was a big one, is we have a new Xbox Series S coming at the end of the year. The Black Carbon Edition, which has a whopping 1 terabyte internal storage drive.
Super cool.
You asked for it, we gave it. That's what it was. Yeah, it was. People were.
That's it. Let's go.
Done. Yeah, no. Xbox will listen to the fans and they'll say, "All right, this is what you want. We want more built-in storage. You want that ready to go. It's going to be built into a brand new Series S."
Yeah.
And the Series S is already an awesome system. I think all of us here were big surprise fans of the Series S straight out of the box. Cloud gaming is going to be a big part of it in the future, anyways. But having that onboard storage means you're not going to worry about.
I think you're pretty spot on. Like obviously the Xbox Series X was like the showpiece of the consoles when that was sort of announced, but pretty much immediately, again, you and I and AP, everyone, we were all like kind of big fans of the Series S because of its, smaller size, cheaper price tag, you still get that same experience. And it was essentially like a Game Pass sort of box, a Game Pass
machine. Yeah,
Game Pass machine.
It's perfect for people like me, right?
Yeah.
It just is. And with the extra storage, I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like Starfield and stuff's probably going to be a bit of a whopper storage wise, and then you've got storage for a whole bunch of other games as well too, if that's your thing. But also, the Series Xbox Series S is perfect for me, right? We've got Game Pass. I don't play a lot of games. I've got them on there. I can shoot. And what I was thinking before is, whenever was this possible on a console that retails for $4.99, right? You can play this stuff. You don't need it, desktop PC, etc., that kind of business. So I think it's just exceptional value. And if you're a more regular gamer, you've got the Series X as well too, which has got all of its benefits as well. I just think it's a great time to be playing games, right?
Yeah. Fletcher says Series S is still my daily driver for gaming. I think we're all pretty much on that same sort of page. I think the thing that got me with the Series S initially was like, it's this big.
I know.
I can put it in anything and just take it with me if I go traveling, even though I didn't really do much traveling over the last couple of years like everyone else. But, that's to know that if we go to like the head office in Brisbane or if we're all doing a catch up somewhere and we need a media machine or just something in which we want to chill and play games, bam. Here's something in my pocket.
I'm flashing back to the original Xbox, which was like this big. And I had the original Xbox bag to go with it too. So Xbox green all through it with the symbol on it.
Yeah.
But it weighed a ton to lug around. And you're going from your mate's place to yours, You just you wanted to take it and show it off. But geez, it was big. There wasn't a lot of room after you put the Xbox in. This thing, like this, bread box.
And I think you're right too, Andre. I don't think it's going to take anything away from cloud gaming.
No.
It's purely just for, some people have certain games that they want to run a particular way. So obviously that's going to be better if it's on the drive all the time. Then sweet, you can do that. But I know a lot of people who are like, no, I just like playing fun games. And cloud gaming is awesome. I don't have to take up storage, any of that sort of stuff. So I think it's going to be a big hit. Probably more, everyone likes stuff when it comes out in black. I mean,
the theme should be something for everyone for this entire showcase.
Yeah.
We got the Xbox, we got the games, we got everything now.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll use that sort of into leading it to our wrap up. So final takeaways from the showcase. Andre, you go first.
Well, I think I said it. Yeah, something for everybody.
Yeah.
There's pick up and play games. There's deep story games. You got racing from sim level down to arcade. So I think I'll leave it on that note.
AP.
I don't think
wise words of wisdom from
more intelligent than that. But it's an exciting time to be playing games, I think is what it is. There's some big hitters coming up, and it's not years away. You know, they're soon. I think Forza's October, Starfield's
Yep.
September. So it's exciting, and plus some new goodies as well too. If you want to update your accessory collection, I think they look pretty suave. So.
Yep. Tim, I know you're not mic'd up, but any final thoughts? Highlights, anything like that? He just likes everything.
Yeah.
Flight Simulator.
Flight Simulator.
Flight
Okay.
Simulator.
Dune
Yep.
expansion.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we didn't touch on that. There was a Dune expansion for, is it Dune or June?
June.
Yeah,
Come
okay.
on.
That looked pretty cool with the little fly looking.
All right.
Thing,
100
yeah.
points if you can. 100 points if you can say the name of the actual plane that they have in it.
I'm not even going to try.
Ornithopter.
Tim will probably know if it's anyone.
Ornithopter.
It's the
Ornithopter.
Ornithopter.
Okay. There you go.
It looks like a dragonfly, but it's kind of a helicopter. I was excited by that. I actually completely forgot. Thank you, Tim. That it was an awesome add-on. And when I saw it, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And I think the new Dune comes out at the end of this year as well.
Yeah. It sure does. My final thoughts. It's cool to see that the evolution of gaming is becoming more about anyone can. There's not really a gamer now. Everyone just plays games. I remember growing up as a gamer, you looked a particular way. You're like, yep, that guy plays games and that sort of stuff. But now with the variety, the access we have, you can play it on your phone, tablets. You don't have to have a, something like this Alienware laptop in front of me to be able to play awesome games and get that experience. You can do it on a Surface Go. I've done videos here on, tablet PCs and stuff like that, and you get that genuine Xbox experience. So it's cool to see that we are continue to push down that path and obviously bring that variety of games so anyone can be a gamer, anyone can play whatever they want. So
Totally.
that's my highlights, gents. It's been awesome.
No,
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me today here in the studio. And Tim's here as well.
I'll do a remote one.
Yeah, off camera.
As always, keep it locked to all of our socials. So if you want to see what we're doing, you want to see the social content that we're posting, it's always on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that sort of stuff. So make sure you follow us and check it out. And always leave comments if you like it. If you don't like it, just tell us. We're not going to be offended.
Send me a message.
Well, Lisa might be offended. Maybe.
It's easy to get offended.
That's okay.
And let us know if you like this new format. I'm loving it. It's it's so cool.
It's very conversational, a bit more natural. I think I
Love
prefer this.
Yeah.
We need in person again, AP. I like that.
Yeah.
I appreciate
it.
It's not often we get everyone under the same roof, so it's cool to be able to just do this sort of stuff and call it work. Doesn't feel
that's
like
right.
Yeah.
Yes. We can edit that out, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. And again, make sure you keep it locked to our socials so you can see what we're doing. Have an awesome week, and we will see you next time.